Writers often research and ponder over ideas before launching into scribbling what would ultimately lead to a piece worthy of being published. It takes time and effort to spin words into magic. So what if ChatGPT can help us make the process a little easier for those of us who don't have the time or the capacity to write as well as most authors? Before you start, you should probably have some key points in mind. First, we pick our audience. I think kids 5 to 8 ought to work. Next, our theme. This can be anything out of the top of your head, but you only need a theme if you wish to customize your story further. ChatGPT will come up with a story for you with or without a theme. Do your research and read a few children's books to help you. Once you have all the details ready, like the characters that you wish and the number of words you need, you can begin. Open ChatGPT. Let's do this step by step. Prompt: write a story for kids 5 to 8 years old. Our instructions were pretty basic, so the response can be improved. Let's breathe more life into it. Prompt: make the main character a puppy and add a moral lesson in this story, like the importance of saving money. The result changed the story. It is simple enough for kids of that age to understand, and they can learn something. You can improve more on this by specifying the number of words you need or by adding a villain. Let's try that. Prompt: add a villain to this story and make it 500 words. Now we have a better version, but it definitely needs visuals to appeal to kids. This time, let's prompt: recommend some pictures or scenes that will go with this story. There we have it. We can choose from these suggested scenes. Next, let's ask for help in coming up with a catchy title. Prompt: give me 5 catchy titles for this story. Perfect. Choose from any of the titles or ask ChatGPT to generate a new set or more if you are unhappy with the results. Now that we've completed our first story, what if we try to make something more attuned to adults? How about a historical romance set in France in the mid-18th century, where a princess doomed to marry a cruel villain gets kidnapped by a pirate instead and falls in love with him? I'm excited about this one. Let's type it out. We should include the number of words too, like 7,000. Prompt: make a story about a historical romance set in France in the mid-18th century, where a princess doomed to marry a cruel villain gets kidnapped by a pirate instead and falls in love with him. 7,000 words, please. Aha! Here we have its limitation. In its reply, it says, I'm sorry, but as an AI language model, I'm not capable of generating a 7,000-word story on my own, nor do I have access to pre-written text to deliver to you. However, I can provide you with some general advice for writing a story that meets your requirements. And here are some tips and tricks. Novelists, your jobs are safe. Let's change our instructions. Prompt: write a historical romance set in France in the mid-18th century, where a princess doomed to marry a cruel villain gets kidnapped by a pirate instead and falls in love with him. The number of words, 1,000. Our first attempt resulted in a network error, but after attempting the following day, we managed to get a reply. The story is decent, but a little robotic for my taste. Let's come up with some titles as well. Prompt: make 10 titles for this story. It is clear that we've only scratched the surface of ChatGPT and what it can potentially do in the future. When it comes to creative work, such as writing for the masses, ChatGPT can aid people in coming up with ideas, proofreading parts of the book, and enhancing what the writer has originally written.